welcome to Mobycon Academy. I'm Anna Wyner, and I'm joined here by Frank Oudegeest from Urban Arrow. Thank you so much for coming today, Frank. Could you give us a quick intro of what you do at Urban Arrow?
Yeah, definitely. Well, thanks for getting me over here. My name is Frank Oudegeest. I'm a business director B2B at Urban Arrow. We're a cargo bike producer based here in the Netherlands, in Amsterdam. We solely produce cargo bikes for both families and businesses and sell them all over the world.
Great, thank you. I'm quite familiar with Urban Arrow as like a personal bike for families, people pushing kids and dogs and groceries around. Yeah. But as you said, you also have a business side. Could you talk a little bit more about Urban Arrow and in the first last mile logistics?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Urban Arrow was founded in 2010. In 2012, we first produced our first real cargo bike. So it was a family bike with literally a box on top where people can go deliver goods. That's as simple as it is. And 3 years ago, we decided to make some kind of a split in the company. One part of the company is totally focusing on family transport. So getting your dogs around, your kids around, stuff around your house. And the other segment is really focusing on the B2B. So the big companies like DHL, FedEx, Coolblue, you name them. For the last mile logistics, we thought it was a very good idea, and we still think it's a very good idea to specialize on that, because it's a way different market than driving around your family. In average, a family drives 40, maybe 50 kilometers a week with their kids, while business-wise they're running 500 kilometers the same week. So you need a different bike, different components, stuff like that. So we have a dedicated team working on that, and also the sales process is completely different. So we try to work it out with the complete team to make a really dedicated B2B sales team and development team. So that's how it works at the moment.
Great. And where have you seen kind of a more successful cities doing that?
Well, during COVID we see a huge increase in sales of cargo bikes and also uses of cargo bikes, especially within Europe. Like Amsterdam is known, it's like a cycle, capital, something like that. But we see it also in London, in Paris, but also in Milan, in cities in Belgium, in France, in Germany. Especially in the dense inner city, a cycle is ideal to deliver packages and goods to homes, to people. So during COVID, with everybody was working from home and ordering goods online and wanted to have them brought to their home addresses, then we really should see the huge increase in usage of cargo bikes.
Yeah, no, I've definitely seen them all around Amsterdam,
yeah.
delivering goods and groceries and everything. And within this first last mile logistics, what do you think the opportunities are for kind of helping cities decarbonize or becoming low carbon?
What we see now is that the whole logistic chain is changing from big trucks going into a city center. That doesn't make any sense. So what we see now is all the logistical companies, they're changing the way they work, creating hubs at the side of the cities where all the bulky goods come in, and from there's like smaller vans and bikes getting into the city center, really to where the people are and where they're living. And that's much more effective and also less polluting, of course, than having these big trucks riding around into the city center.
Right, because most of the cargo bikes that you're producing are electric.
All electric. Yeah.
All electric.
Yeah, all electric. Yeah, and very effective. And if you compare also, that's also a fun thing, that an electric bike is much more energy efficient than an electric van, because you're also using the power of the pedalist, and that makes it so much more effective than an electric van. So it does really make sense to use a cargo bike in the city center.
No, that makes total sense. And we at Mobycon are consultants. We work with cities a lot, and many cities are preparing for more cargo bikes. What kind of recommendations should we be giving them, or do you recommend to cities to prepare for this increase of cargo bikes in both personal use, but also, first last mile logistics?
Yeah, first of all, the most important thing, of course, is the infrastructure, which is or isn't in the city. When there's no infrastructure, you see that, for instance, in Spanish cities, there's no cycling infrastructure or hardly any. Then the cyclists, they use the pathway where the pedestrians are to cycle around. So you get a really strange mix of people walking around, cycling around, especially with the e-cargo bikes. They all drive like 25 kilometers an hour. It's a strange mix and also not very safe. So it's good to work on the infrastructure. And I think there are great examples, for instance, well, just outside over here, where the car is a guest and the cyclist and the cars, they mix up together. That's working perfectly fine. And that could be a good example in all major cities, I think.
That definitely is a good recommendation. And I think like cities like Amsterdam are also struggling because there's the bicycle lanes that are typically for bicycles, but now there's electric bikes, there's cargo bikes, there's other things happening.
It's getting too crowded.
It's getting too crowded. Do you see that as a problem? Have you been hearing that, thinking of creating a new lane for just cargo cycles?
Yeah, of course we hear that, and I can understand it. But what you also see, for instance, in Amsterdam, that the amount of cars is reduced in the city center. So people are more and more aware of it, and they're using less cars and more bikes. So the average speed in the city center is getting lower and lower. And that makes it easier to mix up cars and cycles together, because the average speed is now getting almost the same, whether it's a car or a bike. So it's totally safe to get that mixture inside, but it's taking a while. So in Amsterdam we're used to it. Here in Delft I think you're also quite used to it. But especially in other cities they're not used to it at all. It's more car-centric than bike-centric. And that's a development we really believe that will be the future, but it will take some time, of course.
Yeah, of course. And do you see a growth in cargo cycles for last mile logistics in the US and North America and other places outside of Europe?
Well, we strongly believe that in the US there should be a huge market, but it's just in a pioneer phase at the moment. So you see, especially in Canada, some good examples. In America and New York City, of course, things are happening, but it's really state by state, even city by city. And I think for the future, because in America, a lot of people are living inside the city center, so it's super dense over there. So it completely makes sense to do a lot of transporting by bike, because you can deliver till the front of a house or till the front of an apartment. So it's very effective, more effective than a car, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And the US is very car-centric, so I think it
definitely,
a little bit too much. But I hope they see the potential in cargo bikes and there more of them. Yeah. And what about like parking requirements for cargo bikes?
Yeah, parking, that could be difficult as well, challenging as well to say so, because it's taking place, of course, but also car is taking a place. So wherever a car at the moment is king in a city center, and there are a lot of car parking spots, then definitely there should be room enough to park a cargo bike as well. For houses, it could be a little different. If you live in an apartment, then you really need to have a parking spot over there. But you need it for your car anyway. So, yeah, it's a different way of thinking, I think.
Absolutely. And all the cargo cycles are electric. Are they like battery swap, or are they plug in and charge, or how do they charge?
It can be either way. You can either get your battery out and charge it inside of your house, or leave it in the bike and charge it over there. It's just depending on what's easy for you. It's both possible.
So you can do both with the swappable battery.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And what do you see as the future of Urban Arrow?
Well, we see a bright future. If you see how quickly we're growing, like we started in 2010, a really very small company with 3-4 people inside. I started myself in 2015. I was the 7th employee, and now we're with 160 people in Amsterdam. Having a dealer network of approximately 800 dealers selling our bikes in Europe, in Northern America, in Australia. Yeah, I see a super bright future. I think there's so much possibilities. It's really a different mindset, but we really strongly believe in it. And also together with decarbonization, this is a great solution. And of course, we will not replace all cars or all vans. That's simply impossible. But I think we can have a great stake and do a lot of good in the future.
Yeah, I think so. I also see a huge play in the decarbonizing our cities, and cargo cycles really leading the way. Great. Well, I think those were all of my questions so far. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, well, thank you so much for joining our Mobycon Academy. Don't forget to like and subscribe and join us for our next session.